doing that job in Washington on our behalf and on behalf of the people in Darfur. Rabbi Joshua Levine Grader has been the spiritual leader of the Reformed Synagogue Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center since 2003. Rabbi Levine Grader is a seasoned social justice leader who always mobilizes for important causes such as this one. He has been a stalwart supporter and leader for Jewish World Watch and for his own congregation and community. Rabbi Joshua Levine Grader.
The prophet Isaiah calls out to us in this week's Haftarah, which will be read in synagogues around the world. Wash yourselves clean. Put your evil doings away from my sight. Cease to do evil. Learn to do good. Devote yourselves to justice. Aid the wronged. Uphold the rights of the orphan. Defend the cause of the widow. These words could apply to a great number of nations in our world, but today, as we stand on the eve of the Olympic Games in Beijing, Prophet Isaiah would be speaking loud and clear to the Chinese government and their unbridled support and defense of the genocidal Sudanese regime. National interest, which usually translates to monetary profits, is wreaking havoc on the citizenry of many nations, and in the case of Darfur, supporting a genocide that is now entering its 6th year. In the name of oil, big surprise, the Chinese government, which is Sudan's largest oil investor, has remained complicit in the Sudanese government's genocidal support of the Janjaweed militia in Darfur. China, even more than America in this case, had a unique opportunity to exercise its powerful influence over the Sudanese government and demand that they end the genocide or risk losing their support and, more importantly, their money. The moral clarion call of saving lives, defending innocent people, and returning women and children to their homes, as most of the men have already been killed, has been buried in the ashes of profit. We stand here today not in protest of the Olympic athletes and all that their beauty and competition represent as good in our world, but to remind ourselves and all of you that China should not be getting a pass on their egregious actions in regard to the Sudan. A few facts that you might not be aware of. China is Sudan's largest trading partner, importing about 2/3 of all Sudanese exports, providing 1/5 of Sudan's imports. China has provided 90% of all small arms purchased by Sudan since 2004. These are weapons used by the Janjaweed militia in Darfur. China has consistently protected Sudan in the UN Security Council. They have abstained in numerous sanctioned votes, making it impossible to pass any meaningful resolutions against the Sudan. And my personal favorite, last year China provided the government of Sudan with a $12 million interest-free loan to build a new presidential palace and pledged to write off $80 million of Sudanese debt. As we prepare to spend the next several weeks cheering on our athletes in Beijing, how many more children will die in Darfur? As we watch billions of dollars worth of ads on NBC, how much money will be sent to protect the innocent women and children in refugee camps in Chad and Darfur? China had an opportunity to use its great power on the world stage to pressure the Sudanese government to end the genocide in the Darfur, and the world let them take a pass. Jewish World Watch believes that we should not be letting them off that easily.
That's right.
Isaiah reminds us that the great power, the same power that we have to do evil, can be converted to do justice and righteousness. I ask you, in raising your voice, join me in calling for justice, so that the Olympic slogan, "One World, One Dream," is not just empty rhetoric. For with the genocide taking place on the Chinese dime, that is precisely what this slogan is. We owe the people of Darfur, we owe our world more than an empty slogan. Many years ago, Rabbi Heschel said that in a free society, some people are guilty, all people are responsible. In this case, China is both. Let's call them to action. Thank you for being here, and shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi Levine Grader. In addition enter into the horrors of the Jewish genocide under Hitler. The Armenian community has suffered a terrible loss last century, almost 100 years ago. 1.5 million Armenians were slaughtered. We have here today Mr. Hope